Me why I wear a tatty old black belt. When should kids start karate? What is on my desk? Another commonly asked question we get is, what do you need to start doing karate? Oh, and lastly, I want to introduce you to some of the characters in our dojo. Onegaishimasu. Welcome back to the Goju Karate Center. We're off this week, but instead of breaking our nearly 100-week upload streak, well, 98 weeks of uploads, I thought I'd share some random thoughts in no particular order in a new segment we're going to call Karate Nuggets for now, until I can think of a better name. Thank you for 9,000 subscribers. The amazing thing is that now we're getting 3,000 watch hours a month, and it took us 6-7 months to get to our first 4,000 watch hours. So we are so grateful to you, those who have subscribed, those who are members, and even if you're not subscribed and you're still making a decision, that's okay. We're just grateful that you watch our channel and that you choose to spend time with us when there are literally thousands of other karate channels all looking for your attention. So I had a student the other day ask me why I wear a tatty old black belt. Sensei, why don't you just buy a new black belt? So for kids, it's hard for them to understand that once you get to black belt, there are no more ranks. Well, at least in our style, in our federation, no more stripes. There's no external signs. A black belt is a black belt is a black belt. But for me, the reason why I wear this tatty black belt is one, it was one of Shay's courtship gifts to me from my husband. When we first started dating, he went to Japan for training and he brought back a Shiredo for me, which is something he knew I always wanted. Extra thick, extra wide, plain matte cotton, 3.3 meter Shiredo. Something I always dreamed of having. So for me, it's very special in that regard. The other thing is that in a field that's extremely male dominated, there's not a lot of ways to stand out. And one of the ways that I can show my experience at what I do is wearing this. Now, I've been a black belt since 2014, so only 8 years, which I know in the scheme of karate is not very much. But to me, it means the world because it's something I never ever thought I'd accomplish. And I also like it because it's very much the circle of life. You start as white belt, and the longer you train, your belt goes back to being white. This belt looks a little bit tired by comparison. You can see it frays where I tie the knot. I'd like to show you, though, my husband's belt, because he's been a black belt since 1989, so 33 years of being a black belt. And this is his oldest black belt that he still has. He gave one away to one of his students who, unfortunately, their house burnt down and the belt is gone. But this is very much a symbol of Shay's experience. He doesn't wear it anymore. It's just, it will fall apart. We want to have this as the legacy of the ownership of the dojo. So whoever pass the dojo on to our son one day or anyone else that we deem is the correct heir for the legacy of Goju Karate Center, which this year is 44 years old, this would be that symbol of office. For me, this is a karate artifact. It's beautiful in a way that I think only real karateka get. I know a lot of people would look at it and go, ew, that's disgusting. What a nasty second-hand belt. This represents my husband's many, many years of training. The fact that he has been a fifth dan for 12 years, not his fault, just bad timing, I guess. And for me, that is incredibly special, and that's why this lives in the house and it's not in the dojo where it can be touched and played with. Second nugget for today. When should kids start karate? This is not really a topic long enough for a video, but I think it is something worth addressing. So nearly every week I get a parent phoning me, do you take 2-year-olds? And the short answer is no. And the longer answer is our own son, who is now turning 4, has been growing up in the dojo. Now, I have video footage of him doing face blocks at 10 months old. I have a video of him doing Geksada Etch, or trying, at 2 years old without following anyone, just on his own. If a child who's growing up in the dojo, who has karate parents, and who happens to be the son of someone that I consider talented, is not doing karate at 4, why would we take a child at 2? So one of the reasons is that they literally only have a 4 to 6 minute attention span. That's as long as they can concentrate for. We have a movement ed class for 3 to 5 year olds, but that's all movement ed through play. So they're playing, and they're still doing strength and agility and coordination and all of that. but they're not doing karate because they're not ready for karate and they're not ready for the structure. It's also worth remembering that Miyagi himself did not start training until he was 13 years old. And he would not take students under 16. I think if they saw what is happening in modern karate today, and especially with 7 and 8-year-olds running around with black belts, I think the old grandmasters would be spinning in their graves. We don't take 2-year-olds. I know some dojos do, and power to them if you want that blood money on your hands. For us, it's not fair to the student, it's not fair to us. So once a year, we have family week where we bring the parents onto the mat, and they try to do a simple mawashi uke with their kids, and they realize that karate is really not that easy. And if they are struggling to do it as adults, it's a lot to expect kids to get it like this. Yes, kids are neuroplastic. They learn much faster than adults, but they also forget much faster than adults. And one more thing, and the reason I think this 2-year-old thing gets started. Yes, Tiger Woods, the Williams sisters, a whole bunch of great athletes all started doing sport very young. And there's this idea that if you don't start young, you're going to fall behind. You don't have to start young to be great at karate. Now, I'm leaving the topic of sports karate out for now because it's extremely controversial and we just don't touch it because we like to keep our channel peaceful. But if your child is going to be a great karate athlete, maybe they need to start at 5. But if they want to be a great karateka and a person who does martial arts for their own growth and personal journey, there's no reason to start at 2 years old. Not at all. And also we find the sooner they start, the sooner they quit. Is there an ideal age to start? Not really. I mean, I started late with karate. I started at 19. Shay started at 5. But very few of the people he started training with still do karate. Most of them have fallen away. And very few of my black belts who started at 5, their peers are still training. I would argue that starting later is better, before teenagerhood. So they're into it before the teen years start. Teenagers, we have one of our highest attrition rates, especially with girls. I discussed this in a podcast with Les Bobke. I'll put a note in the description. But obviously this is a topic we feel quite passionately about. So no, we will not teach your 2-year-old karate because they are literally incapable of learning karate in a meaningful way. What is on my desk? Let's start with our marble banks. So one of the things that we use in our dojo as kind of like class motivation and to bring spirit, or as we say in South Africa, gees, to your dojo, is we have these marble banks. So this is a class earning system. It works like dojo currency. They earn marbles on different topics. This is just some of them. If I were to put all the marbles, this desk would be very cluttered. So every class has a bank, and they can earn marbles through exceptional training. We've got marbles for kindness. We've got marbles for improving their skills, and the pretty blue ones for improved focus. So they earn individually and they spend as a class. So we have fun dojo games like netball, dojo netball, hockey, protect the president, or open gates, or any variety of games. And if they want to play those games, they need to spend dojo money to earn them. So it's a little bit of an expensive setup these days because marbles are really not that cheap. But we have these big motivators. Just going to get a few of my favorites. So we've got big, these are worth 40 to 50 marbles, depending on the size. I've got bigger ones stashed somewhere there at the bottom. So these are great if you are looking for ways for your class to grow together and to motivate them to work as a team, because they learn and they grow as a group rather than individual. Students get punished individually and rewarded collectively. Because collective punishment just makes them feel resentful and it doesn't work. That's one of our little systems. It works better with kids, although teenagers, they pretend like they're too cool for these systems. So one of our teenager classes, they kind of strong-armed me into a system in which they earn interest if they don't spend their marbles. So it's also a way to teach financial literacy, which is fun. So that's one of the little systems. I instituted this. This was my brainchild as a deshi in 2016. So it's been around a long time. And it works better than stickers, and it's a lot tidier for your dojo. Another commonly asked question we get is, what do you need to start doing karate? You need to know why you are starting karate, because that will affect the dojo you choose, the environment you choose. And there are a bunch of reasons, self-defense being one of the most common ones, getting strong and losing weight and getting fit, looking for a new community to belong to, which is for me one of the most important reasons to join a dojo. And that will affect the kind of dojo you choose. Now, there's definitely a scope for us to do a longer video on how to choose a dojo and what to look for. But the short of it is, one, if you go to a dojo and they don't offer free classes or they want money up front, there's a problem. They can't retain students. Especially the ones that ask for 3 months to a year's fees up front, they have no student retention. So they're trying to get money from you up front. Big red flag. There should be free classes. We offer 4 free classes, so students can get to know us and make sure this is the right decision for them, especially for parents, because kids can be flaky and you don't want to buy uniforms and everything, and now you've committed on paper and your kid gives up after 2 classes. What style? It's not as important as people think, because sometimes the style is not as important as the sensei. And a great sensei will help you become a great person regardless of style. Yes, some styles can arguably be better than others if they've got better lineage or better oversight. Do they incorporate groundwork? Do they incorporate sparring? Or is it a no-touch dojo and sensei calls himself grandmaster and wears a black belt with 15 stripes on it? Then we've got problems. But for the most part, does it really matter if you start with Goju, Shotokan, if the dojo in your area that you happen to like is not that style? Is it a good dojo? Is it well run? Is it professional? Is it within driving range? You really don't want to choose a dojo that's far away, because the first thing that's going to fall away when life gets tough is your karate. Do you like the vibe of the dojo? That's an incredibly important question. If your gut feel is that you don't like it, don't join it. And yes, style is a nice thing to have. If you're lucky, the style you want happens to be the dojo you find. But some styles are scarcer than others. So in South Africa, you can't throw a rock around here without hitting a JKA dojo. There are literally hundreds of them. South Africa is a big Shotokan stronghold. And that's just JKA. Never mind all the splinter groups. And even for Goju-Ryu, youth, we are within a 10-kilometer radius of us, there are 3 other Goju-Ryu dojos. So in some cities, you will always be spoiled for choice. And in some places, if you live in a small town, there may only be one dojo, and that's all you have to choose from. Yes, now we live in an amazing age of YouTube. You can train with the greatest instructors in the world on YouTube, but it's not the same as a dojo and a sensei to correct you and help you. So what do you need to start karate? Let's get back to the topic. A dojo within manageable distance, with a sensei that you like, with a professionally run environment, that they've got first aid training, that they have police clearance and all of these things. And you need an empty mind, because you have to go with beginner's mind. The Japanese terms just escape me now, but it'll come to me. I'll put it on the screen. And knowing why you want to train and how you're going to approach this goal will help you sustain your karate journey. Quick caveat, there are much, much faster ways of getting fit than doing karate, to be honest. That's why Miyagi sensei and all the other grandmasters were all runners. Running is a large part of their training, and I think I've seen in some of Higawana sensei's videos, he also runs, or I'm not sure if he runs as much anymore, but it was a part of his training regimen. Karate will help you get strong over time and help you build bone density, improve your posture, and help you develop core strength. But the only shortcut to getting fit really is running and swimming. But I hate swimming. I love running. Oh, and lastly, I want to introduce you to some of the characters in our dojo. This is Oscar. He is for our class clowns, the ones who fall down dramatically and act like soccer players and roll around. We award them an Oscar for the duration of class, so that's why he's in our dojo. This is Miyagi-Be, who Shay had made a long time ago. And he's kind of there for the kids who are having a little bit of a rough day and they just need someone to cuddle and they just need some time out. Miyagi-Be serves that purpose. And over there we have General Chicken. And if you watch our dojo tour video, Shay talks about it in depth, where we use the statue game. It's a bearing test that's often used in the military, and we use him to give the kids a little bit of a challenge. So we'll squeeze and hold him away from the mic. And he'll go in their faces, and it's really a test of their focus. And you'd be amazed how some 5-year-olds are better at the bearing test than some US Marines. So good for them. I think that covers all for now. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell me if you enjoy this segment, if it's something we should reinstitute, or let it die in a fire. I tend to find that the videos I love most are the ones that do the worst. So every labor of love I make, and if you're watching to the end, you know all about this. My favorite videos are the ones that have tanked the hardest. So it's so often I say to Shay on a Friday afternoon when I release the video, I'm like, what a cuck video. I hate it. I'm not proud of it, but I needed to get it out. You can only polish for so long before you start petting the video. And that video will get 2,000 views overnight. And then a video that I'm really passionate about and I've worked so hard on, like last week's Karate Kids video, will tank completely. And I don't know why. So, we're not here to please the algorithm, because if I was doing that, I would do much more clickbaity videos. I would have my face in the video captions more often. We would do reaction faces. We're not good at that. That's not how we roll. We just like doing our little blue collar karate. Thank you so much for joining me for this first installment of Karate Nuggets. I will see you soon. Next week, we'll be back with our normal karate programming. Arigato gozaimasu.